Shane not going to back off. We know that. And he's going to love this opener on the 2-ball. I don't know if the 3 passes the pink 4, and I think it does. So not much options on a 2 that he's pretty straight in with. But one thing that I saw early in this event that I actually commented on early is I think the 4 1/4 pockets, the no shot clock, I think that kind of helped Ralf maybe to get started here versus the 4-inch pockets with the 30-second shot clock. Now, things will change on the weekend a little bit, but you know, he got a chance to be kind of in his most comfortable position to start the tournament, and that's what it takes to do well, is get off to a good start.
And that's what Shane Van Boening has been doing in all 3 of his previous matches. He's won them all comfortably.
Yeah, really, the only mistake that I witnessed in the second match, he scratched on an 8-ball to go down 2 games after his opponent broke and ran, but after that ran off 9 in a row.
Yes, to get here, he's won 27 racks for the loss of only 5. He beat James Channon, whitewashed him 9-0. Then the match you were talking about, Jeremy, overcame Matthew Wrigley 9-2. And then he beat Juan Carlos Exposito from Spain 9-3.
And keep an eye on that second table. Still lots going on a close match with Delgado overrunning on the 6. SVB perfect on the 6 here, though, just a stop shot. And, you know, we're all human, but if you catch Shane after, you know, a few events, he's one of the guys that you can just darn near depend on to play not perfect pool. It's very hard to play perfect, but pretty close to perfect, it seems like.
Well, Jeremy, words of wisdom again from you, talking about the importance of the lag, and immediately SVB into his formidable stride. Break and run out from the get-go. First blood drawn by the new world 9-ball champion. Let me quickly give you some scores from around the tables. Chris Alexander 2, Ivan Coelho from Portugal 1. Tim Jonkman, who was Ralf Souquet's first victim in this tournament, he's still on the 1-loss side of the draw, battling away against Ronald Wrigley from Switzerland, and Jonkman leads 7-6. Jeff Beckley from the United States, also on the 1-loss side of the draw, 8-6 up on Ian McCormick from Ireland. In the All-American battle, Oscar Dominguez, he made a slow start against Billy Thorpe, but he leads 7-6. And Dennis Grabber, he's 6-2 up on Alex Montpellier.
And Delgado on table 2 got himself in a spot, made a great shot. We'll see what happens there, but back to the main table. And the main man, you might say, the reigning world 9-ball champion. I think he's got a pocket, the middle. It's a little thin, but does lead towards the 2-ball. Usually you don't mind the thin when you're this close to it. You can really work the ball a little bit. So really past this 1-ball and gaining shape on the 2 should be another break and run.
This might seem obvious and it might seem simplistic, but Shane Van Boening, there was one elephant in the room with his career, never having won the World 9-Ball Championship. Now he's done it. He just seems to me to be in a really good place, and that means his opponents are in a bad place.
Well, that's exactly right. And I think I commented on it earlier in the year that I thought he was in a good place, and that may have been why. You know, he just seems It's hard to describe, I guess. You just got to kind of know him, but it just seems like he's taking things on the chin a bit better at times, and he understands that it's not going to be like the exceptional career he had early, right? It's just too difficult to do in today's game.
Just had a result between two European big boys. Torsten Homan beating Alexander Kazakis 9-3.
Yeah, where I saw Thorsten earlier. Oh my. Well, that's surprising because really didn't need much pace on that ball. And he knows the pocket's big in that regard. And the 4 over the middle side, maybe a little mental lapse there, putting that much speed on the 3. Again, no shot clock, which here early in these rounds, and I think that really helps Ralf at times.
Yeah, Souquet was involved in the first flight of matches here on Tuesday morning, and it was a really lengthy match against Tim Jonkman. He was behind, he needed to scrape and fight and grind, and that's exactly what he did. He then beat Pranit Ramchandani 9-2. That was no sweat by comparison. But earlier today, it most certainly was a sweat. Had to throw the kitchen sink at Thomas Kaplan. Came back from a substantial deficit to win 9-7. So he has won 27 racks so far for the loss of 16, which is in stark comparison to the easy road through so far for Van Boening.
And I think the template between these two guys, you know, kind of helps Ralf in a sense. Now again, can't have all those titles without doing everything really well. I wouldn't say he's the best on the planet, maybe at any one of them, but just so solid in most areas, especially the ones that are important. Getting across that finish line, that's a big one.
I must say I admire him greatly as a player and a person. He's so well organised, isn't he, on the table and off it.
Yeah, definitely stays in shape. You wonder when he's going to start to show a little chink in that armor, and I'll tell you what, I wouldn't bet against that happening anytime soon. Landed on the rail a little bit here, so obviously got to pay attention, but definitely a guy that knows the slick table very well.
The mistake was made on the 3 ball by the world champion, the former world champion, then capitalised. And he also equalised. It's 1-1. On table 2, our other stream, which is available on the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel. There you can see Niels Fine breaking off. 7-6 ahead now of Jose Alberto Delgado. The rack we saw live on our stream, he missed that very simple 9 ball. Hard to get over that, but of course, with his vast experience, he knows not to dwell.
Yeah, it wasn't so clean on the last 9 that he pocketed to take this 7-6 lead. It caught a lot of the side rail, and that's kind of what I've been seeing from Niels this entire match, as most of them have gone down. Of course, we saw that 9 miss, but they haven't been so clean to the pocket. So it seems a high-stress match. The score certainly tells us it is. John Lehman racking the balls for table 1 and 2 in this round. Ralf going with a head-on break, no cut there, making the 1 in the side. Ooh, the 4's gotten in the most ugly place you can get on the pool table. Just past the side, it looks like frozen near the rail and the point. Tough shot on the 2 as well, coming off the back cushion. Now he can play the 4 down long. Hard to think he can play it in the upper left. Tell you, we're lucky enough to have a view of both tables, and I'm glad we don't have a monitor for all the tables. It'd be hard to concentrate on just one, I'll tell you. So much going on.
I was in Vegas on one occasion, right in the middle of the baseball season, went into a big sports book, tried to watch about 10 baseball matches simultaneously. My head was spinning, I can tell you.
Oh, I was wondering if he may go for the breakout on the 4, and I don't think it cost him the 2, but we can definitely see the tables changing a little bit more. That same pocket that got SVB, and I thought Ralf hit this good enough to go. It wasn't perfect, obviously, but definitely the deep shelves on the diamond tables showing up. Little rail first here. It's all about the speed. Looks pretty good. May not be ideal because, you know, you want to get very heavy on the 4 for the lower left, or get beyond the 4 near the 7-9 to play it in the side. And I'm not sure. He may have to play for the 4 in the side like a 3-rail angle to track the cue ball around the 7-9 and backup table for the 5. We'll see. Yeah, that's what he's looking at now. And it's all about guarantees. He could maybe flirt drawing back and getting into the natural position, but if that's any kind of question mark, no reason to not end up short and just play the 3-rail angle off the 4 to get to the 5. Niels Van gets to the hill.
Yes, 8-6 up. Another score to tell you about. A couple of matches ago, Jeremy and I were commentating on Riku Rompainen coming back from 8-4 down to beat Robbie Capito 9-8. Well, Capito is still alive on the one-loss side of the draw. He's just beaten Benjamin Belhassan from France 9-3.
So a nice bounce back from the man from Hong Kong. Lucky enough to be here, and we're happy for it. Now Shane's, I think that first decision to set up for the 3-rail angle off the 4 seems like the most solid play to me here, and really simplifies the 3 as well. Well, I guess he's going to stun this. Can he cheat the pocket here to pound past the side? I guess he can. Using the extreme left side of the pocket to pocket the 4. Niels has broke the balls on the heel. He's got a tough shot on the 1, queuing over the 4, so we'll see about that one. Shane should get out here, though, to take a 2-1 lead, and even more so, get back to breaking the balls.
Friendly little nudge. That's the thing with Van Boening. He might not have the most explosive break, although it's very, very, very good. But he's, in my opinion, got the most consistently effective break. He's a great student of it, isn't he? He goes into the arena and watches rack after rack after rack. And he comes out and he's well equipped to get the best out of it.
Yeah, he gets the most out of it, you know, even when he's not swinging at 100%. And maybe with the firm break, nobody repeats it better, right? I mean, he really doesn't back off. And off the side rail, not many go 100%. I wouldn't say it's 100%, but it's up there. And he consistently contains the white ball, and sometimes gets banged around a little bit, but that's just part of it.
Well, apart from the missed 3-ball down the side rail when he played it at maybe a little too great a pace, apart from that, in the second rack, Shane Van Boening is looking as sharp as a tack. He leads 2-1.
Yeah, and Niels Van looks a lot better. He probably made the shot of the match for him on the opening 1 ball here in rack 15, and now in a great position to advance.
He's such a warm personality, Neil Svein. You can't help but root for him. Really good guy. Now, bear in mind, this is the loser's side. How about this for a scoreline? Mickey Kraus from Denmark on the hill against Eklund Kachi at 8-6. Kachi could be going home.
Well, I don't know. Just seems like his mind wasn't as much intact as it normally is for Kachi. Maybe struggling somewhere mentally, but I know Mickey suffered a loss in his last match, or maybe just sometime today on a winner's side. He may have played a loser side since, but I wouldn't doubt Mickey's just taking it to Kachi a little bit. All right, the one caught the point. Not what the players want to see, because it usually comes back below the rack a bit and makes things difficult. So we'll see if Niels fires this 9 in like he normally does after missing the one earlier. This is to win the match and advance.
You heard the Niels Svein shout from across the arena. He is through 9 racks to 6 at the expense of Jose Alberto Delgado.
All right, pretty good touch from some distance there, and we'll see. Ralf may jump this. I doubt it, but he is going over 2 balls, but the first one's so close. Shouldn't be a problem getting over the second one, I would think. He's going to size up the kick shot. Now he's looking at the jump, and it's not terrible, even though, like I said, he's going over 2 of them. A lot of players definitely would jump at this. The kick shot, though, you know, you hit the bottom of the one, you got action on getting a snooker. Could pocket it in the side. You hit the top of the one, you may go up towards that upper right corner and possibly scratch, but you're still going to get some separation. Now he's looking at the right side rail, which is the same kind of thing. You know, as long as you don't hit it kind of square in the face, you should get the cue ball and the one kind of separating. Now, if you do hit it square in the face, you may pocket it in the side pocket. So lots of positives, and Ralf won't miss this kick. Caught it a little full, but he's going to get a little fortunate placing the one in a tough place. Shane may go for this bank here. This is difficult. Really, I mean, he can almost bank it long and bank it 3 rails between the 2 and the 4 and back down on the bottom of your screen to the bottom rail and maybe hold the ball, but I kind of like him going for it myself. Now, he played it with a force follow high ball to try and help make the ball, but also send the cue ball forward. Maybe a little bit of a backdoor safety with a little luck. And that's a game face.
Cue ball just having enough room to go round the back of the 8 ball. And now, that well-known phrase in general life, Ralf Souquet behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, and I wonder if he kicks at this with a lot of pace. I thought he may kick behind the 8 to the bottom rail and come up underneath. This type of kick shot, I'd like a medium pace here, I think. Not too hard, yeah. Oh, that's unlucky. Hit it dead on the nose and followed it right on in. As Mizrak said in Color of Money, didn't deserve that.
I'm not saying it's a given that Shane Van Boening is going to dish up here, but I think one of us would fall off our chairs if he didn't, let's put it that way.
I'm on the edge of my seat already, so I don't need any help in that regard. Lots going on here at the UK Open. It's only day 3. 3 more days till we crown a champion.
Yeah, you're doing a great job behind the microphone as always, Jeremy, but there's also in the back of your mind thinking about that US Mosconi Cup and the connotations of a good result here for your guys. We know that Shane Van Boening is going to be there. The selections haven't been made, but if he wasn't, there would be questions in the house, as they say.
Yeah, it'd be hard. Not mathematically impossible, of course, but it'd be hard for someone on the American side at this point to overcome what he's done already here early. Another Shane in a different position, about to tee off on table 2 from America, Shane Wolford.
It's 3-1 for Van Boening. The scratch, the unfortunate scratch from Ralf Souquet was his undoing, the terminal moment in rack 4. The winner of this match, by the way, in the next winners round, will take on either Daniel Maciol from Poland or Tobias Bongas from Germany. Right now, it's the early stages in that one over on table 14. I can tell you Maciol leads 3-2. Mickey Kraus 8-7 up now on Eklund Catch, who's trying desperately to stay alive in the tournament. Matthias Snigotsky 5-3 up on Francesco Candela on the one-loss side. Dennis Grabber on the hill against Alex Montpellier, leading 8-3. Loho Sum, the World Masters runner-up, he's on the one-loss side as well, up against Pius Labutis from Lithuania, and it's Labutis who leads 3-2.
A little kick on the cue ball, but I think the 2 got up to where it is cuttable on the side. I think this overhead will show us for sure. I think it just drifted up enough, and I don't know actually. He's got to take this on in the corner. He's almost got to shoot at it. I mean, where do you roll out? There is no jump shot to roll out to that Ralf won't take. And I think it just got to where maybe edge on the 2 doesn't still cut the 2 in the side, so we'll see. Now maybe it does cut, and he's just worried about how quick the cue ball is going to be moving around with a lot of traffic and the 3 in the center of the table. Well, how sweet is this? The last 2 Matchroom events, we've got both the winners right here on table 1 and 2. Josh Filler about to tee it off against Shane Wolford. That is a undefeated side match, winner side match. Okay, he's cutting it in the side. Watch out, cue ball. Don't think he's going to hit it too easy. Oh, he did. Oh, side pocket. And don't think he's going to get there for the 3, maybe. Nearly lost the cue ball in that side pocket.
our commentary position overlooks table 21, where David Al-Qaedi is just over the 8 ball. In it goes, and he's right behind the 9 to complete a 9-7 victory over Mika Immonen. The Spaniard progresses. Immonen goes to the loser's side. It's a tough school, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is, and it doesn't take much. And now Shane's going to try and take this 3 ball on in the upper right. He's going to try and track the cue ball 3 rails behind the 9, between the 9-7, but also between the 8 and 9, I believe. Had a similar shot that he missed in his first match, about the only ball he did miss. Oh, he was trying to get that below the 9, a couple kisses. He's in bad shape. Now this is actually a shot that comes up in the pool room, kind of like a proposition shot where they're both on the middle diamonds and you kick it in. So if you know the shot, you kind of know where to aim. You may have to adjust a little bit on the slick table, but wouldn't be surprised if he kicked and cut this in, Phil. Joshua Filler with a break and run. That lag is so important. You want to aim about. Yeah, that's a good hit, good solid hit. He wanted to get that past. So here's an opportunity for Ralf, a long distance one, but one he's going to love. This is a prime shot that I was talking about. That extra opening on the pockets may help a guy like Ralf. He hit that dead center. I would have gone on a 6x12. Oh my. That wouldn't have gone on a 7-foot valley, kind of from nowhere.
I'm amazed, absolutely amazed. The one thing you can expect from Ralf Souquet is reliability, dependability, and that was the complete opposite. What a blunder.
Yeah, and especially after, you know, a kind of mistake that Shane had. Shane will get very motivated after a miss like that and really want to punish his opponent, especially such a reputable opponent like Ralf. He wants to put a lot of heat on him, run out here and put a few racks together.
And inside, Souquet will be really disappointed. He'll be burning up, actually, because that was meat and drink, wasn't it?
And I can't really, usually you can see the flaw, maybe a little quick, but I don't think there was much concern with the cue ball. That was natural, just to draw over. And just didn't expect it. It's not going to do him any favors against this guy right here.
There it is, 4-1 to Van Boening, and Souquet was his own worst enemy, missing the 6 ball, which was entirely elementary. As Jeremy has mentioned, Joshua Filler breaking and running in the first rack on table 2, which is available on our Matchroom Pool YouTube channel. Looks like breaking and running in the second as well, Filler. He's a man on fire. One thing I can tell you about our YouTube channel, there is one more match to come over there on that table when Filler's finished against Walford. And it will be a really intriguing one. It's not just a match, it's a rematch. Skylar Woodward against Riku Rompainen. The reason I say rematch, of course, is because Riku beat Skylar in a tournament in Las Vegas quite recently.
Yeah, maybe. I guess that was late March into the beginning of April, so not long ago. Okay, the one nearing the cue ball again. That's a good sign for Shane, not so much for Ralf. Does have a pocket by the 8, it appears anyways. And not too much cut on the 1, so should be easy position on the 2. And here's where the punishment starts, Phil. And I don't think it's going to let up. I really don't. A little straight here, so he's going to have to make a decision. Do I cheat the pocket here, trying to get out for the 5 in the side? Or can I get the 4 in the upper right and still get easy position on the 7? Doesn't need much on the 7 with the 8 over the corner. It's all about maintaining here and not doing anything silly. And he wanted to lay right on the rail, but he can cheat the 5 going into the pocket a bit and certainly get the cue ball out a good 4 to 6 inches. Key to this is don't baby it too much. That way the ball slides. Oh, he's drawing back for the side? I wouldn't think so. No, he's got to come out for the corner, right? Yeah. And Filler in a good position to run his 3rd rack, but he's facing a young man that I think has the type of mentality to handle these type of things and understand that he's just going to have to tend to business when he gets his turn. The problem with it, he's facing a guy that might not give you many turns.
Yeah, lots of American interest on the tables at the moment. I can tell you Billy Thorpe has been beaten by Oscar Dominguez. And so Dominguez moves on the 1-loss side. And he now takes on another American, Jeff Beckley.
Yeah, well, Billy looked good in the first 2 days. And was that overhit there? That may get on top of the 9 a touch. Should be okay. Just seemed like he was a little just struggling all day today. Had some opportunities in that match against Mora, and John gave a few opportunities back. Seemed like Billy was starting to get some rhythm, but it just never worked out.
I honestly don't think there's any better sight in pool than Shane Van Boening at his finest. Don't think we can say that about this match. I think that would be an over-exaggeration. He's made a couple of mistakes, yes. But when he's on, boy, he is a treat to watch. And he's certainly in command here. He leads by 5 racks to 1. He's won 32 racks in total in this tournament so far for the loss of only 6.
Yeah, and of course, pressure has a lot to do with how players perform from one player to the next. But I like it when the racks lay tough. When the players, are getting some tough racks between both opponents. I think that's where you really see the difference in Shane and some of the others.
One big name on the verge of elimination. Omar Al-Shaheen, runner-up in the World Championship last year. He finds himself 8-5 down to Irena Laar from Estonia.
Wow. And Filler's first mistake, got a little quick with the stroke on the 8, kind of punched it a little bit more and way short on the 9. And the 2 is going to go in the side. He's going to get a shot at every ball on the table, so that's always a good sign. Doesn't matter which one you have to fire at next, and he's missed that bank unless he's made it cross side twice. Wow, Shane Wolford's going to get on the board and get on the board fairly early.
Yeah, Josh Filler playing for the bank. He left it hanging over the pocket, and Shane Walford notches his first rack. As for this one, well, I mean, that wasn't a break-off, that was a decimation.
Well, it's almost like when you play sometimes on a 7-footer, you'll see some guys play softer because of the control, but really, me and Shane talked about it just a couple days ago that we both like the head-on break. You're going to be making balls. You're not going to come away with a dry break in the most, you know, unfortunate moment, right? And the work behind it. How much less work is he doing in this long tournament, making 2, 3, 4 balls at a time sometimes? Just a little less stress, you might say. And just like I said, after he broke here, he had a shot on every ball on the table. So hard to be upset after an outcome like that. And I thought he would come with a big paddle, as you'd say. You get in trouble back at home. Back in the day, whenever I was in school, you might get the paddle, and I think that's what Shane's trying to bring out after that big missed 6 ball from Ralf Souquet.
He's top of the pool food chain, and he's determined to stay there. Just a wonderful cue-ist. Shane Van Boening already 2/3 of the way to victory over another proven tournament winner, Ralf Souquet. 6-1. So let's give you some other scores. Chris Alexander 5-3 up on Ivan Coelho. Roman Hebler 7-2 up on Jan van Leerup. Loho Sum, World Pool Masters runner-up recently. He's 4-3 down to Pius Labutis. Badr Alawadi, who will represent Kuwait in the World Cup. He's 6-4 up on Jake Newlove. João Griot has taken the first rack from his fellow Portuguese Miguel Silva. So Shaw 5-3 up on Jan Remper. Mateusz Snigotsky 6-5 up on Francesco Candela. Petri Makinen and Oliver Sholnocki 4 each. Mario He 5-1 up on Ko Ping Chung. Not going well for the Ko brothers.
Well, I think Mario He kind of shored some things up after, you know, only 1 match in the World Pool Masters, but he really had a lot of opportunities that he'd like to have back. Kind of quietly going about his business.
But there's nothing quiet about Shane Van Boening's break. It's like a gunshot.
Yeah, and I think he may be able to stiff this bank end cross side. I'm not sure how. Yeah, he definitely can. He's going to have to hit downward on it. He's going to have to kind of stun draw into the purple 5 to get position. But I think it does go. You have to know how to hit the bank, and hard to believe he doesn't. It's like a center ball stun. Real flat cue ball is what you want. And he's got to hit downward a little bit. That way you can cut it, and avoid the double kiss. Two ways to do it. You can actually hit it with a lot of speed, trying to stiff it. I like the medium speed myself, not trying to get out of control. I think goes into the purple. Yeah, oh, he got by the purple, even closer to the pink. Easy to lose this coming across. Got to stay heavy on the 5. Nice stroke there. Held the angle to naturally come behind the 7 for the same pocket as the 6. Stay off the rail with the cue ball. That's the main thing. You can almost handle anything on the 7 as long as you're off the rail.
We all remember when Ralf Souquet missed that sitting 6 ball, and boy, has that proved costly or what.
Yeah, I think that was at 2-1, if I remember correctly. I mean, you know, he's 53 now and he's played professionally since his very early 20s, and count probably on 2 thumbs the type of ball he missed right there, right? And he's getting the ultimate punishment here from the guy that likes to distribute that kind of stuff, and he does it quite often.
And he's like all great champions. We see them in snooker as well. They don't just want to win. They want to win by as many racks or as many frames as possible and just rub their opponent's nose in the dirt.
Yeah, well, it's can become psychological against this guy right here. A little bit, even as great as Ralf is. We saw it in the opening match where he was, I don't know what he would have made the odds, but something off the charts, but just never let up. And that's a big key to so many victories.
Well, he's certainly not letting up here, the great SVB. He's 7-1 ahead. Another interesting scoreline for you. Omar Al-Shaheen, world finalist in 2021, is out of the tournament at the hands of Reina La from Estonia. Well done to him. Naoki Oi, 5-0 up, also on the loser's side against Konrad Zhushin.
Yeah, Conrad took his first loss to Shane Wolford, who's now playing Josh Filler on the YouTube channel, Matchroom's YouTube channel table 2. But now down 6-0 now against Oi.
Just had the news, by the way, which will please everyone watching, that there is going to be an extra match on this table. After this, it is going to be, on the loser's side, an intriguing contest. Albin Auschen against Gary Wilson, the snooker player. And I'll tell you what, if Shane Van Boening keeps breaking off like this, Auschen and Wilson will be out here centre stage pronto.
Yeah, and he's 2-ball caught the point coming 3 rails off the back of the rack, and now he's going to have to roll out difficult, you know that. He's, in my mind, the most unique rollout player I've ever seen. And occasionally Shane will roll out to tie a ball up. This isn't an option in this rack, but normally he likes to roll out and put the most pressure on you, the most difficult little situation he can, and bet he can execute a little better than you can. And it may just be rolling out to a super thin cut on the 2. Maybe an edge on the left side of the 2, which is also difficult. Wants to keep the cue ball on the rail or near it. And this is going to be a safety by Ralf. Ralf can't pass this, I don't think. Chipping off the left side, trying to drop the cue ball below the 9. I don't think Ralf goes for the cut myself now, where Shane may. I don't know. But he's got to take this on, in my opinion. Unless the table's fooling me, or at least the camera view we have.
Doesn't look flustered. He'll still think he could possibly win this match, although I think he realises the percentages are dead against him.
Yeah, he passed it back, so it's a little surprising to me. couple reasons why. I mean, he can play the 2 kind of below the 9 as well, wanting to cut it a little bit. I don't know if he can come back behind the 8. I think that's what he was looking at. But he's one of the best at edging the ball, and he can certainly edge the left side of the 2 and get below the 9. Not easy. Speed control is crucial, but all right, it looks like we'll see. If he hits the right side of the 2, he's trying to come back behind the 8, just slowly. He's hitting the left side. So far, a good decision by Ralf, but this was the thing, right? Is he's going to have to come with a tough one, even if he didn't get the snooker, and that's why it was surprising to me he didn't take on the rollout, that being Ralf. And of all the shots in pool, edging the ball is one of the most nervy shots. Especially he hasn't shot in, what, 4 games? 5 games? Interesting to see if he levels out or if he elevates. I'd probably elevate myself. He's going to level out. Still has to put a lot of speed on this because you don't want to be long distance on the 4. Oh, what a great shot. And after a blunder that you may not see again the rest of his career, what a shot he came with there.
He's pulled off 70 extraordinary 5-backs in his golden career. He's pulled off 2 5-backs in 3 matches here. We cannot write him off completely.
Don't think he messes with the side here on the 7. No reason to. I wouldn't anyways. I wouldn't take a chance on that. Corner's such a big pocket from this angle and the speed he's going to play it. Pretty thick hit though.
He's never in the market for the spectacular, Ralf Souquet. But he gets the job done. That was a really good pot, I thought, on the 2 ball, having been kept cold for quite some time, as Jeremy said. And so, although Shane Van Boening is still holding all of the aces, at least Souquet gets a much-needed rack. It's 7-2. A different generation of German pool player, of German champion, is on table 2 right now. That's available on the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel. And just as I speak, Joshua Filler is over a very simple 9 ball. In it goes to lead Shane Walford 4-1.
And I'd have to guess our 2 odds-on favorites on table 1 and 2, pre-tournament favorites, SVB and Filler.
Oscar Dominguez prospering. He leads Jeff Beckley 4-0. Victor Zielinski from Poland. He's up against Karol Skawersky, who's just beaten Albin Auschen. And it's Zielinski who's had the better of the early running there. 2-1 ahead.
Okay, he's got to like this. And the 2 opens up. Not much angle, so maybe a heavy draw stroke to get back for the 3 in the side. We'll see, but something to get started with here to try and make a little comeback. It's going to be a big comeback.
while he's contemplating this shot, I think it's only appropriate for me to mention a Brit who's doing really well. I don't think I've mentioned him actually during the tournament so far. Luke Rollison. He's up against Abdullah Al Yusuf, still on the winner's side, and Luke is leading 2-1.
Oh, he's playing one of the hottest players on the planet, Al Yusuf, who's put some really nice tournament matches and results together here in the last 6-8 weeks. Okay, I don't know what Ralf was so worried about here. Draw off the 8. I think, oh, he tried to follow. He's got to know better than that. Just not going to go anywhere when it hits the rail that quickly with that heavy spin on the slick table, and he's got to come with a shot now. And he put left English, which was really working against the shot, because when you ricochet off the 8, you're going to the right. So, kind of against the grain. Okay, should be the kind of speed Ralf likes, though. Pretty mild coming across. Oh, he's overcut it by some margin.
Well, he called that really badly, didn't he? Really badly. Okay, we talked about the 6 ball he missed to the middle. That was just a lapse in concentration. That one would be a worry.
And Ralf knows as well as anyone that he can, on those angles, you can use a hair of that long rail trying to slide the ball in, and he missed the mark. So now what? SVB, there's a little bit of gaps there. Does he play the 3 underneath the 4-9? Coming 2 rails up to the end rail? Does he edge the bottom of the 3, coming to the bottom rail with the cue ball, trying to use the 4-9? Doubt he plays the cross corner bank. That'd be a little too much gamble in this position. I think I got to play the 3 underneath the 4-9. I mean, he could play the cross corner bank and swing the cue ball, but I think he's supposed to put the pressure on and play the safety here. Doesn't want to give up anything easy. Oh, he did. He played the cross corner. Yeah, I don't understand that play really, just because he's shooting a 4 ball from a mile away. I understand if he goes at it and draws the cue ball around into position on the 4, the 3 probably falls with a little more speed as well. That surprised me to see him roll that bank, Phil.
Yeah, the 3 hanging right over the pocket. It's physically impossible if you make any contact with this to miss it. Quickly, let me tell you, Joshua Filler leads 5-1 against Shane Walford now.
Oh, this may end up on top of it here. He's just looking for a combination, he hopes anyways. And this may have lined up just perfectly for Ralf. We'll see. And see a little shake of the head. Not that much command on the cue ball just of yet.
With the cue ball and object ball in such close proximity, and then the 3rd ball also in the same vicinity, this is a really tough one to judge.
Absolutely, because what happens is the 4 will slide a little bit instead of roll. Could make a missable 9 ball. He's gotten it down.
Well done indeed. So 7-1 at his darkest hour. Now it's 7-3, and of course Souquet gets to break off in the 11th rack. Not over yet, this. Not over yet by a long chalk. Other scores. Well, the winner of this match will play either Daniel Mathiol or Tobias Bongers. They are locked together at 4 racks each at the moment. Abdul Al Yusuf and Luke Rollison also locked together at 2-2. Oliver Sholnocki, he's 7-4 up on Petri Makinen. Matthias Snigotsky on the hill against Francesco Candela in a 1-loss side match. That's 8-5 to the pole. Viktor Zielinski and Karol Skaversky are 2 each. Jonas Suto Camino, who we saw lose a hard breaker to Denis Okolio much earlier today. He's on the 1-loss side as a result of that. He's 8-2 up on Luke Garland, who defeated Ko Pin-Yi earlier in the tournament.
Pretty good cue ball. Let's see what the 5 has to say about the shot on the 3. Bumped it over a bit, but you got to think that Ralf loves this, getting a pretty clean shot.
All lovers of Naoki Oi, and there are millions of those, will delight in the fact he's 8-1 up on Konrad Yuzhushin. 8-2 as I speak. The Pole has just knocked in the 9 ball in rack 10.
Well, maybe that 1-loss side for Oil, you know, get him going a bit, because another overcut 3 ball, and Shane will have to contemplate another cross corner bank. Now this one sits a little bit better, and I don't think he's going to roll it again, but I think it's a little mental for Ralf, really. Knows the table so well. Again, on all those cut shots on the slicker table, you stay a little thicker. The ball will slide. I wouldn't try to play a 2-way here and hold the cue ball and the bank for shape on the 4, but hold safe as well. I'd have to just go for the bank, I think, or just the safety outright. I think it was just maybe me and you earlier in the tournament, Phil, saying that it seems like Oi is playing with a little more stress these days than he did, you know, last year and, of course, years before. Wow, he's just playing the safety. That's amazing. And a very mild safety as well. I mean, if you're going to play a safety there against Ralf, you figure maybe you separate the balls. You could use the 4-9, putting the 3 underneath the 9 and let the cue ball run up table.
I think it's fair to say that Van Boening's game plan in this match has been a little haphazard, inconsistent. Sometimes he's gone for balls you don't expect. Other times he's been a little more cautious than you might anticipate.
Yeah, and you can't let results change what you really think is correct. You know, that does happen to the best of us sometimes. Well, I missed a bank in the last. Why would I bank at this one after missing? But, you know, the correct shot, of course, is not always the same for each player. But I kind of feel like normally Shane banks at that 3 ball there. And I didn't really mind the bank on the last one that he missed. I just thought he'd shoot it with a little more aggressive speed. I wouldn't want to make the bank like that and be, you know, 8 feet up the table shooting a very tough 4 ball. Usually when you go for a shot, you want a reward. Oh, this is surprising coming across this way. I don't understand that either, unless he's really trying to hit specifically on the bottom of the 3 like that. And how could you really calculate that, Phil? Wow. And I think he's corner hooked him.
The Kaiser getting away with one there.
Yeah. Amazing, though. The only reason in my mind that you would kick across instead of follow the same path that Shane kind of moved the 3 ball into position on the safety is as if you felt like you were going to hit the bottom of that, but that's a big gamble. Josh Fielder doing a lot of what he does. Another rack going to go on his score line and going to lead 6-1. Is he kicking behind this? Is he just coming across behind the 9 trying to move the 3 up table? I'm not going to like that unless he puts him in the trees over the 8. And he hasn't totally.
That's
Another
a first
surprising shot, right?
Well, that's a first for me, Jeremy. Put him in the trees. I like that, yeah. We say hampered cueing in snooker. It's nowhere near as descriptive or as colourful.
I got 4 or 5 for being jacked up and They're all pretty good, but the only reason I would say he played off the top of that is maybe he was corner hooked to the bottom of the 3. You know, the shelves are very deep on the diamond table, just like the Rassen. And so he could literally have not been able to see one side of that 3 ball, and that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Watch out for the overcut here. It's been an issue for Ralf in the last few. Oh, he's hit that thick, so timing is definitely off. And he's been getting away with it, but not this time.
And you can talk all you like about the nuances, the different aspects of pool. Ultimately, it's quite simple. You've got to be able to knock them in.
Yeah, that's the basis of it. These guys recover from all kinds of positions, but knocking the balls in, that is a number 1.
Can tell you the court jester of pool, Naoki, he lives to fight in another round. He's just beaten Konrad Yozhushin convincingly 9-2.
And I tell you, boy, I'm sure played a great match. But the thing about pool is a little different than a lot of sports, especially certain days during the tournament. You know, Conrad came off a very tough loss to Shane Wolford at 9-8, and he's got to regroup immediately to go to the one loss side match. So all kinds of mental aspects to our sport.
And the worst thing for Ralf Souquet to deal with here, he's missed 3 balls, and he's missed a very simple 6 ball. And against anyone, that's not recommended. Against Shane Van Boening, well, surely it's going to be a case of defeat.
And Shane does this a lot on shots like that, where most would hold above the ball with more angle. He comes down and gets much heavier on this ball to where he's got to power the ball a bit more. Of course, he does it better than maybe anyone that's ever lived, but most players would have held a little bit more above that 8, making things a little more natural, moving the cue ball. Hard to argue, though.
It's not been flawless, but it's been more than good enough so far. Shane Van Boening on the hill. He leads Ralf Souquet 8-3. Also on the hill, on table 7, Oliver Sholnoki against Petri Makinen 8-4. Abdullah Al Yusuf, he was 2-1 down to Luke Rollison. Now, though, the Kuwaiti is 4-2 ahead. Daniel Maciol and Tobias Bongers still locked together at 5-5. And maybe Shane Wolford is going to get a rack on the board against Joshua Filler and ease the scoreline somewhat for him to 6-2. He needs quite a straightforward 8 ball, followed by what should be a straightforward 9. Oh, and he's missed the 8. He has missed the 8, Shane. That's unforgivable.
Yeah, that ball kicked big time, but I think, in my opinion, I never really blamed it on anything but my execution when a ball kicks like that. And a little flat with the cue ball, and it really grabbed. I don't know if we'll see a replay. I'm sure we will on table 2 for that 8, but if you're at home, just watch it slide sideways and not turn over at all.
Well, the end could be nigh here. Another gargantuan break-off from Shane Van Boening. Serving out these balls.
Yeah, this is very natural to come. Could ease it. Kind of think he's going to go straight up and down the table using both the short rails. Well, he's kind of come back off the shot. Really, this is one shot with the 5 over the side, 6 near, just getting on the 2 ball. Oh, he did ease it. And now we'll see, you know, I guess he had a 3 ball that was similar earlier that Here he can't quite stop his ball and be happy with it, but it is doable just stopping the ball. But I bet Shane goes ahead and attacks, drawing the ball past the 8. This table doesn't take a ton of power, that's for sure. He came all the way back. Much more than he wanted. 9 ball, golden break for Filler. 8-1 after what looked like is one of only a couple opportunities for Shane and didn't take advantage.
On the way to winning the World 9-Ball Championship in Milton Keynes in April, Shane Van Boening had back-to-back golden breaks. And I said at the time, and I said during the World Masters when we saw Filler have one there, when guys like that have a golden break, it's like a billionaire winning the lottery. They just don't need it, do they?
All right, just one shot here. Speed control, a little crucial, but he's going to be off the rail no matter what. So if he falls a little on the wrong side, still shouldn't be a problem. He's done that, just a little bit on the wrong side of it, of course, but when you go past it, you want it to keep going to give you a little more angle to move the ball. That speed looks fairly ideal, and we're going to lose Ralf Souquet to the one-loss side. He's got to grind out some matches to get to that final 16, but Captain America will advance.
Yes, and advance pretty convincingly. The numbers, you know, for the rest of the field here at the UK Open are rather ominous. Shane Van Boening has played 4 matches. He has won 36 racks, and he's lost only 8. On this occasion, in a match of legends, he defeats Ralf Souquet 9-3. Fully deserved. So next up, it's going to be Michael McMillan and Carl Boyes in the chair. The last match of the day here on Table 1 will feature, and it's a really interesting one, this, Albin Ouschen, last year's World 9